We operate in a modern era of infinite data, yet our ability to make decisions has steadily degraded. Access to more information has created a professional landscape defined by chronic hesitation. This contemporary state is characterized by over-optimization, perfectionism, and analysis paralysis. We attempt to calculate every possible outcome before taking a single physical step. But in high uncertainty environments, like early-stage tech startups or financial markets, the variables are too volatile to predict with modeling. In these opaque systems, traditional pre-action analysis and rigorous planning often fail against the sheer unpredictability of reality. Waiting for the perfect choice or the optimal emotional state is mathematically inferior to immediate low-inhibition execution. Because data-rich environments often stall execution, professionals require psychological mechanisms that actively bypass the analytical brain to force action. This is the functional utility of the internet-born philosophy known as Retardmaxxing. It acts as a radical prioritization of action over analysis. Its core mechanism suppresses three things: excessive hesitation, crippling perfectionism, and the fear of external judgment. The methodology utilizes a deliberately dumb persona to lower cognitive load and eliminate the friction between intention and execution. The term itself is transgressive and ableist. We will maintain clinical detachment to extract its decision theory mechanics while discarding the cultural noise. We will trace the adoption of this heuristic by elite decision-makers, deconstruct its psychological utility, and ultimately refine it into a rigorous risk model. This meme represents a raw behavioral hack aimed directly at curing the modern professional's inability to act. To understand how a fringe internet term reached high-level venture capital, we have to trace its specific historical trajectory. The terminology first appeared in 2018 within niche self-improvement forums. It began as dark humor used to describe highly aggressive, low-inhibition behavior. By late 2024, online creators formalized the joke into an action-first mindset built around raw output and iteration. In the spring of 2026, the concept was adopted by high-status tech elites, specifically billionaire venture capitalist Marc Andreessen. Andreessen framed the concept as casual ownership. This builder's mindset rejects introspection, equating it to neuroticism, in favor of immediate execution. The transition from digital subculture to billionaire discourse signals that the mechanics of the heuristic are being tested within high-stakes professional environments. Action state orientation theory allows us to clinically dissect why this blunt heuristic successfully overcomes paralysis. The theory identifies a state-oriented trap, a ruminative loop where individuals overanalyze past mistakes and future outcomes, leading to performance impairment. The heuristic forces an action-oriented bypass. By metaphorically shutting down the prefrontal cortex, the practitioner disrupts the ruminative loop. This acts as a practical cure for the scalded stove phenomenon, where the memory of a past failure prevents any future attempt. Bypassing the memory of failure allows for continuous Bayesian updating. You gain true information in opaque systems strictly through real-world iteration and subsequent feedback. In environments where pre-planning is ineffective, raw action is the only mechanism for generating reliable data. This makes a dumb heuristic a profoundly effective engine for discovery. A psychological engine is not a complete philosophy. We must evaluate this heuristic using rigorous risk management frameworks. Nassim Taleb's Insturias series provides a framework for navigating decision-making under uncertainty. There are deep overlaps between Taleb's work and the internet meme. Both express a disdain for over-theorizing and maintain a strong bias against top-down planning. Taleb champions tinkering or bottom-up trial and error. The meme's focus on throwing ideas at the wall mimics this principle of iteration. However, the two models diverge on risk. Taleb's philosophy is centered on mathematically bounding downside risk, while the internet meme encourages uninhibited recklessness. While the internet heuristic captures the velocity of Talebian tinkering, its lack of systemic guardrails makes it mathematically fragile in the long run. The ultimate synthesis involves harvesting the raw psychological engine of the internet meme, but installing it within a mathematical risk chassis. Taleb proposes a barbell strategy designed to avoid ruin by combining 90% extreme safety with 10% extreme risk. The uninhibited velocity of the heuristic must be strictly confined to that high-risk 10% side of the barbell. Capped downside is mandatory. Total systemic ruin must be rendered structurally impossible before the practitioner adopts the reckless persona. Marrying uninhibited behavioral action with mathematically bounded risk allows for high-velocity iteration while theoretically eliminating the threat of systemic ruin. For professionals navigating startups, markets, or creative endeavors, the operational rule is specific. Move fast, bypass analysis paralysis, and make frequent, uninhibited mistakes. But this behavior must be deployed only in isolated domains where the downside is strictly bounded. Unbounded ruin is a systemic failure. Rapid, real-world learning is a strategic asset. Mastery over uncertainty is achieved by engineering safe environments where being deliberately impulsive leads to anti-fragile growth.